So have you heard about the P-Square drama?
I actually have. They are in a new drama every other day at this point. So,
Yeah, I know, right?
Yes.
So we are here to tell you guys about this drama.
Enlighten you a bit.
Yes, but from the perspective of the law.
Hey guys, welcome to Legal Essentials.
On the 8th of November, right, Mr. P released a song called Winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the song did not even land very well.
Nobody has ever heard of it, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly, right? we now saw Rudeboy, which is Paul, on Instagram complaining that his brother had stolen his song.
His management, actually. So both his brother and the management said the management was kind of useless. And it's not hard to make a song, but they decided to steal his own word for word.
Yeah.
Yeah. And release it, even though he intended on releasing it on his own album next year.
June, yeah. That was true.
Yeah. This is how it went from Rudeboy's perspective. He said that since he and his brother had made up again for the 1,000th time, if you ask me, they were to bring 6 songs each by the management, I guess, to create a kind of joint album.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if they had broken up at this time again or not, but Mr. P had allegedly taken Rudeboy's song and released it on his album. And I guess when Rudeboy found out, he came to Instagram, like he always does, to air his grievances or to tell everybody what happened and to threaten his brother, because I guess his messages don't work. So he came to Instagram to tell his brother that he was going to take action against him for stealing his song word for word. Yeah.
Okay, so now as funny as that sounds, right?
Yeah.
Is that really the right approach?
No.
Like bringing family matters on the internet?
Actually, no, but it is their like mode of operation. I think everybody that knows P-Square in Nigeria knows that they fight every other year and they bring it on the internet because we are all council of family members at this point.
I would say it is like a promotional thing, to be honest. Can't always be true, right? Who would actually have like an altercation with their sibling,
like every other day,
and you'd bring it on the internet like every time?
Well, regardless, it's also not a matter that should be like arrested. Like somebody shouldn't be arrested. Police shouldn't be called on this matter because it's not a criminal.
It's not a criminal
issue
case,
per se. But let's see what the law has to say.
Yeah.
Yes. The part of the law that has to do with the artist and the music and the paintings and just everything art is the Copyright Act of 2022, and that's where we are bringing what the law says in this matter. So this whole act talks on copyright protection. So that is how the law protects your art from being stolen, and among other things. You know, we have things like piracy. Basically, this is where everything resides in our law.
Okay.
And Section 2, subsection 1 talks on the works that are eligible for copyright protection, and it includes
audio works, musical works, literary works, artistic works,
and some other works.
Yeah, etc.
Yes. Then Section 2, subsection 2 gives the grounds that would make these works eligible for protection. So basically, the law is saying, yes, you might have an audiovisual work, but if it doesn't lay on these grounds or if it doesn't have these criteria, you might not be eligible for copyright protection. So for everybody's good, we're going to talk about the grounds upon which your work can be eligible for copyright protection. So the first ground is that effort must have been expended on making the work to give it an original character.
Yeah. So
this has to be your work. You have to have done the work. It has to be your art, your music, your book, any other art that you do. It has to be yours, and you have to have actually done the work. Okay, now the second thing is that the work must be fixed in any medium of expression from which it can be perceived, reproduced, or communicated, either directly or with the aid of any machine or device. So what the second one means is that the work has to be tangible. When we say tangible, I don't think it means physically, obviously, because you can't see song, but I think it means it needs to be accessible. So it can be reproduced, it can be communicated, it can be perceived, it could be directly or it could be indirectly, but it has to have that accessibility.
Yeah.
Now, where do songs fall under, you may ask? Tell us.
So songs fall under 2 categories, right?
Okay.
The musical work and then the sound recordings. The musical work is literally it talks about like musical compositions, and then we have the sound recordings, which anything that can be perceived orally and can be reproduced. So now that we've actually established that a song is a product for copyright protection, and we've also gone further to explain that explain the grounds for ownership. Now let's look deep and check if there was actually a stealing. So Section 36 of the Copyright Act, basically explains or lists out the acts that could constitute an infringement of another person's copyright.
It does.
So it also goes further to state that copyrights can be infringed if a person, without the authorization of the owner of the copyright, does these things I'm about to list.
Okay.
1, does or helps someone do anything that violates the exclusive rights granted under the Act. 2, imports or helps import into Nigeria any work that would be an infringing copy if made in Nigeria. 3, sells, offers for sale or rents out any work where copyright has been infringed. 4, makes or possesses materials or equipment used only to produce infringing copies of copyrighted works. 5, allows a public venue or business location to be used for a performance that infringes copyright unless unaware or without reason to suspect the infringement. 6, allows copyright protected works to be reproduced on their premises. 7, performs or facilitates the performance of copyright protected works for business purposes or promotion. So the question is, what did Mr. P do, that led to him being accused of stealing Rudeboy's, song?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure you are wondering as well. So we know that Mr. P has been accused of stealing the song Winning.
Yeah.
And we can ask why Rudeboy is accusing Peter of stealing. We know, obviously, in layman terms, it's because he said, I wrote this song and you stole my song. But according to the law, which is all we can bank on, because it is the law that states how someone can be punished or if somebody should be punished. So according to the law, we know that he's accused of stealing because he had committed some acts or done some things that violated the exclusive rights of the act. And now here are the exclusive acts, and I would also tell you the particular act that he committed that violated these rights. Copyright in a musical work involves the exclusive rights to do the following, and they are to reproduce the work, to publish the work, to perform the work publicly, to translate, reproduce, perform, or publish the translation, to create audio-visual works or recordings of the work, to distribute copies for commercial purposes if not already authorized, to broadcast the work, to share the work with the public, to make the work accessible online for public access at any time, to create adaptations of the work, to perform any of the above acts for translation or adaptation of the work. And in this case, we can say that he had done a bunch of them. So we're going to mention the things that Mr. P did and why it's okay, or why Rudeboy is in the right to accuse his brother of actually stealing his work. Among other things, we can see that Mr. P distributed this work, that is the song Winning, to the public, as well. He also shared it on a public domain as his work without clearance or authority to do that. So that alone constitutes the act of stealing. Yes. We could say this is a done case, done deal, trade away the keys, but that's not how the law works, because it's also said that Mr. P was a co-author, or he co-wrote this song with his brother. So now in that case, it would be it would be left for Rudeboy. Yes, it would be left for Rudeboy to come and defend his case as to why, as to whether Mr. P did write the songs or not. Did he write it with him? Because if he did, that changed a lot of things, because he also has like ownership of the song.
Sure.
Yeah. So although we cannot say whether Mr. P or Rudeboy is at fault, is the infringer, is the thief, or is the one that was stolen from, we do know that such cases to happen, right? It's not just now. It's not a what's the word? It is not a singular case. It is very widespread, and just in case, right, there are remedies to be had by the person whose copyright was infringed on. Section 37 of the Copyright Act provides that anybody that has been infringed upon, or anybody that the copyright has been infringed upon, can get remedies from like a criminal remedy or a civil remedy. So there could be a civil trial, a criminal trial, and it could happen simultaneously.
Okay.
So it kind of, I think it benefits the person whose copyright has been infringed because it broadens their remedies, or the remedies they can get. So let's move first to the civil remedies.
So we have a number of civil remedies, right? And then there's the injunction, which is basically the court saying pause on any of these, acts of infringement, Then we have damages, which is basically the person whose rights has been infringed, right?
Yeah.
It can claim monetary compensations for the infringement.
Yeah.
And then we have account of profits, which is basically bring all the money you've made, like from this infringement,
all the profits you've made,
all the profits,
because it's not yours, because you
obviously it's not yours. And then we have delivery of, which is basically the court or the authority seizing physical copies of infringement, like let's say pirated copies. You see things like those pirated movies, pirated songs, in hard copy. I think majorly,
if this scandal or if this drama happened in, I guess, the days where people really sold tapes, everything that has made by the distributor
would be seized, and confiscated. Okay, and then we have notice to take down, which I would say this notice to take down is majorly for like soft copies, so like
right? The music right now is on Spotify.
Yes.
If this was taken to court and if Mr. P was seen as the infringer, he would take down
all the
Apple Music. So now under the Nigerian Copyright Act, some acts of infringement do constitute criminal offenses, and they include making or distributing infringing copies for sale or hire, which is self-explanatory. If you, apart from all other infringement we talked about, if you make to sell copies of art or whatever that was stolen, it would be a criminal offense.
Okay.
Yes. The second one is importing infringing copies into Nigeria except for private or domestic use. Same thing. If you were to import copies of art, of music, of songs that have infringed on someone's copyright to sell them, not for private use, not to listen to in your house, but to distribute to other people, that is a criminal offense.
Okay.
And the last one is possessing equipment intending from producing infringing copies. So if you're the one that is producing these pirated copies of CDs or movies or other people's books, or owning those equipment to produce these copies of stolen works, it's also a criminal offense. And for every criminal offense, there's always a punishment, a penalty, and this is no different. And according to Section 44 of the Act, the penalty could include fines from 1,000 naira to 1,000,000 naira, or actual imprisonment, so going to prison for 3 to 5 years, depending on the severity of the offense. Yes.
Right. Okay.
Food for thought though. If you are a creative of any kind, it is probably best you get your work registered under the Nigerian Copyright Commission, because nothing might happen, but it's better safe than sorry. Yes. And if your work does get infringed on, do not worry too much, because the Nigerian legal system has your back. Yes. And they have numerous remedies for you, so you would definitely get your money's worth, or get your time back, or you'll probably
be satisfied.
Yes, with what you get. Okay, we have come to the end of this. I hope you enjoyed.
If you did, drop a comment, share with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe.
Definitely.
So I'm Sharon,
and I'm Grace,
and this is Legal Essentials.
See you next time.
Bye.